Today, we're taking a close look at a Town Hall 13 War CWL base built around one simple objective: make every attack complicated, slow, and unpredictable. This layout may look clean and symmetrical from the outside, but once you look at the wall structure and defensive distribution, you'll notice that the base is designed to break enemy pathing into multiple stages. So stay with me until the end, because I'm going to walk through this base from the central core all the way to the outer perimeter, and there's also a useful bonus waiting for you halfway through this breakdown. Let's start at the center. The most important part of this base is the central defensive core, where the town hall is protected by several layers of walls and surrounding defensive structures. The town hall is not sitting in an isolated compartment. Instead, it is integrated into a larger core that forces attacking troops to move through multiple areas before they can reach the most valuable targets. Around the town hall, you can see several high-impact defenses positioned across nearby compartments. The Inferno Towers, X-Bows, and other defensive buildings create overlapping attack ranges, so an army entering the core can quickly come under fire from several directions. One of the smartest features here is the compartment design. Instead of creating one giant central box, the builder has divided the interior into several smaller sections. This means that even when attackers successfully break one wall, they don't automatically gain access to the entire core. They still have another wall, another compartment, and another defensive zone waiting for them. That is extremely valuable in CWL, where one mistake in troop pathing can completely change the outcome of an attack. Now look at the areas immediately around the town hall. You'll notice important defenses are separated rather than stacked together. This reduces the value of destructive spells and makes it harder for an attacker to eliminate multiple defensive targets at the same time. The core also contains several structures positioned specifically to influence troop movement. For ground attacks, that can create awkward turns and unexpected pathing. For air attacks, the spread of defensive structures means an attacker has to account for several damage zones instead of simply sending everything toward one central point. And that brings us to another important feature of this layout: the four-directional structure around the core. From the center, the base extends outward into several distinct compartments. Each section contains a mixture of defenses and support buildings, creating a maze that attackers have to navigate before reaching the center. Now, we're moving toward the upper side of the base. Here, you'll find additional compartments protecting defensive structures and resource buildings. Notice how the outer compartments aren't just decoration, they act as buffer zones. These buffer zones can force troops to spend more time destroying buildings before they reach the next wall layer. And in a war attack, every second matters. Quick pause. If you want to copy this exact Town Hall 13 War CWL base, you can get the base link directly from the description below this video. Go grab the link and save the layout for your own village. And stay with me, because we still need to examine the left, right, and bottom sections, where some of the most important pathing tricks are located. Moving to the left side, the base continues its multi-compartment structure, with defenses positioned to protect each other while remaining separated enough to prevent one attack from clearing an entire section. The right side follows a similar concept, giving the base a relatively balanced defensive shape. But symmetry does not necessarily mean predictable pathing. Because of the spacing between buildings and walls, attackers can enter from one side and still find their troops splitting into different directions. That can be especially dangerous when the attacker is relying on a tight funnel or a planned path toward the town hall. Moving down toward the bottom section, we see another defensive layer surrounding the central area. This creates an additional barrier between the attacker's deployment zone and the core. The bottom compartments also contain defensive structures that help maintain coverage across the lower half of the base. Meanwhile, The buildings positioned around the outside create additional funneling obstacles. These external structures may seem harmless, but they can be extremely useful for controlling where enemy troops go after deployment. And that is one of the biggest strengths of this layout. The base doesn't depend on just one defense or one trap location. Instead, it uses layers of walls, separated defensive zones, awkward troop paths, and distributed targets to create a difficult attack environment. For CWL, that makes the base especially interesting because attackers cannot simply rely on one familiar entry pattern. They need to study the compartments, identify the best entry point, plan their funnel carefully, and make sure their main force can actually reach the core. Overall, this Town Hall 13 War CWL base is built around strong town hall protection, compartmentalized defenses, controlled pathing, and layered defensive coverage. Its biggest advantage is that every successful step into the base still creates another problem for the attacker. If you're planning to use this layout, remember to get the base link from the description, save it, and test it against your own attack strategies to see how the pathing works in practice. If you enjoyed this base breakdown, don't forget to like the video, share it with your clanmates, and subscribe to the channel for more base designs. And most importantly, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next base we feature. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next base breakdown.